a scope of coverage you won't find anywhere else. This is WeatherScope Tonight.
Well, we hope you have enjoyed your Valentine's Day, and thanks for joining us tonight here on the Weather Channel. I'm Janetta Jones.
And I'm Jeff Morrow. In the Northeast, you had a little bit of snow today, and we're going to show you that right now for Valentine's Day. This a person, I can't tell if that's a man or a woman, but they got flowers, whoever it is, and hey, you're doing okay. Right here, we had to deal with the snow, 3 inches worth at Logan, 2.9 officially. That's a courier, I believe, and boy, what a nasty day to be biking around in the snow and the slush. I think that guy had the right idea there. It's all compliments of an Alberta Clipper, and that's the kind of pattern we are in, folks, the Clipper pattern. Why Alberta Clipper? Because these systems, as they cross up over the ridge in the west, the weak Pacific lows move up over that ridge, and then they dive down into the east, and they gain a little bit of strength, and then eventually they gain a little bit of moisture, particularly right here along the coast. There's all our little clippers. And they sometimes blow up right along the immediate coast. Now, Alberta, because the jet stream coming right down out of the Canadian prairie provinces of Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba, you could take your pick and name these things, but Alberta Clipper seems to be the one that is stuck. Clipper because they move so quickly. Now, again, most of the time, as they move through the upper Midwest, that's a long way from the Gulf of Mexico and from any moisture source except for the frozen Great Lakes. But as they get closer to the big moisture source of the Atlantic Ocean, you can get heavier snow. And that's exactly what happened with our latest Clipper that is just now starting to clear Maine, and will happen again, as we'll talk about in the forecast, with our next Clipper, which could even be bigger. But we had up to 5.5 inches of snow in Rhode Island at Narragansett, and I think that Providence itself picked up about 3 inches, Boston 3, Portland, Maine 3. In Central Park, you ended up with about 2, and Augusta, Maine, there's still a little bit of snow there, but most of it's right down along the coast. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the satellite perspective, and boy, you can really see where the jet stream is, and you can see 1, 2, 3 different clippers here. I know it's a little bit difficult to see, but there goes number 1 moving off the east coast. This batch of whiter, brighter clouds here is clipper number 2, and then we have yet another one moving down in that fast jet stream flow, and it's dry in the west. Janetta will talk about that in a moment. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3 different systems. Again, clipper number 1 is getting out of the picture now, taking the snow with it. Still a little bit of snow right along the immediate coast of Maine. Here's our second clipper moving down through the Tennessee and Ohio valleys with mainly rain here to the south. And then we're just starting to see snow from our third clipper moving in to the Dakotas. Again, most of that on the light side right now. There's some of the snow right along the immediate coast. Portland looks like it'll stop snowing there pretty soon. You have 3 inches, working on 4 or maybe even 5 in some cases there to match that total at Narragansett. Then we have the rain down here in southern Kentucky, a little bit of snow past Cincinnati and up toward Columbus, but it's very, very light. And this is all rain to the south, and it's starting to fall apart a little bit, it seems like, as it approaches the immediate Nashville area. And last but not least, we see the tail end. Most of this isn't even reaching the ground, back through Fort Smith and Oklahoma City.
A clear, dry day allowed President Clinton to survey parts of the Northwest devastated by last week's flooding. The president flew over flooded fields and farms outside of Portland, Oregon. Earlier in the day, he took a walking tour of Woodland, Washington, where he met with flood victims. The president has already promised around $38 million of aid to Washington and more than $27 million to Oregon. Elsewhere in the Pacific Northwest, a cold, thick fog blanketed Olympia this morning, making it tough on commuters and joggers. But by midday, the fog was burning off, and temperatures, which had been below freezing, were moving into the 50s. Olympia can expect a two-sided day again tomorrow with a foggy morning and a sunny afternoon. Well, as Jeff was alluding to, things are very dry across the west, and you can thank that big area of high pressure for the dry, sunny conditions you've been experiencing. Really nice weather. All of this moisture in the Pacific is riding up and over that ridge of high pressure and coming on into the Great Lakes in the form of Alberta Clippers. Yeah, and we've already discussed that. So on to bigger and better things. High pressure in control, looking great for Seattle and Astoria, and a little bit of fog setting up for you in parts of California. That may become more prevalent by tomorrow morning, so watch out for that in the valleys of California and along the coast. Temperatures right now are very nice. 62 in San Francisco, in the 40s in Seattle, so it has dropped just a bit. But here's where we have the really, really cold air.
Our special series Nor'easter Winter's Hurricane continues now, and today we look at ongoing research that shows how damaging these storms can be to the shoreline. Here's Charlie Welsh with more.
Just one nor'easter can cause serious erosion, moving tons of sand and changing the structure of our beaches. But research is underway to help us understand this natural process. Not an ideal day to be at the beach unless you require these conditions for scientific research. That's what's going on here at Duck, North Carolina, an extensive experiment to look at wave motion and sand movement.
And what we do is 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, is monitor the waves and the currents and the processes that affect the beach. And then we study how the beach responds. Does it erode? Does it build up?
Recently, more than 100 researchers using 35 experiments studied different geological, biological, and oceanographic features of the beach.
We have a few instrument packages that are located offshore in various positions on the beach. We're studying the evolution of bed forms in different types of wave energy situations.
Video cameras are in place to monitor wave and sediment movement. This video shows the effect of continuous wave motion on a sandbar over a 2-year period. More than 500 different instruments were used to carry out the field experiments.
The black line is the longshore current, and the red line is the cross-shore current.
All the data collected will be used by the scientists to build a picture of what happens to beaches during storms and what may occur in the future to our coastline.
That's the kind of question we're trying to be able to answer by doing these kinds of studies. By able to make some predictions, then we can hopefully then look for remedies that will allow us to retain these kinds of recreation facilities that we have in the way of beaches.
The study of our beaches is important to future generations. Research on nor'easters will help us understand erosion's role in nature's continuous cycle and aid us in protecting a vital natural resource. I'm Charlie Welsh, the Weather Channel.
Tomorrow on Part 4, we look at one town's fight for survival as they continue to build along the coast. That's tomorrow right here on...